This is the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. Charleston is not only looking for their second win on the season, they're also looking for their second win all time against the Queen City Corsairs, who come in looking pretty banged up after back-to-back losses on the road. We'll see if their fortunes change here at home. And good evening, folks. I'm Tyler Falk. Good to have you here with us here for this presentation of the Simulation Football League. And a special thanks to my broadcast partner alongside me, Brett Solberg. Glad to have you here, Brett. What can you tell me about the Preds and the Corsairs?
Sometimes all that you need to get back from recovering from your banging uppiness is a little bit of home cooking. Queen City 2-0 at home so far, hoping that a little bit of home cooking will get them back on track, back over 500. And Charleston still trying to find identity both offensively and defensively. We know they can pass well, but that run game, it needs to come up with it as well. We'll see if either of those aspects come into play here, Tyler, but this is a big game for both these teams.
Both these teams now entering the back half of their schedule, each having played 6 games. Charleston 1-5 in their white jerseys, red pants. Queen City black jerseys, white pants. They're at 3-3 as here we go as the march to the playoffs begins now. Here's a decent little return through the middle, breaking a tackle, still breaking tackles all the way up to the 36-yard line is Bob Wood. And he's eventually brought up there. And that'll see us welcome onto the field the quarterback for the Corsairs, Michael Brown.
And Brown has done his job so far. He's got top 10 in a lot of statistical categories. 8th in completions, 8th in attempts, 8th in yards, 6th in touchdowns this season. He's been an effective quarterback, but he needs time in that pocket, or else that league 25th, 12 interceptions is going to creep in.
And 7 of those coming in the last 2 games, partner, as he will start under center with a bunch formation off to his right, single back in the backfield. Rolling is Brown here on first down and scanning, firing across his body into coverage, finding his target, Joe Beasley, the wideout, for a gain of 4. As let's introduce you to the rest of Beasley's comrades on the offense. The backup quarterback is Isaac Covert with Ace Ketchum, Charlie Baker, and GP Wells at halfback, and Jalen Wells at fullback. Adrian Ellis Sr., Joseph Boudet, Ryan Davis, and Bob Wood all tag team with Joe Beasley in the wide receiving core, with James Matthew Jr. and Tyler Bobby at tight end. Demon Pickle and Kai Pickle are on the line, but they could not stop the thunderous Khalil Thomas coming up from his linebacker spot that time.
Yeah, and when you think of a team that has, 3 headlined, contracted running backs to kind of work with, you think they'd be successful with it, but Ace Ketchum is only 214 yards in through this season.
Hovering right around midway in terms of total yards. Oh, what a move by Wood! And he's up the field all the way down to the 38-yard line. A spectacular play by Bob Wood.
Yeah, a bit of a forgotten wide receiver in that core. It's been mainly Joe Beasley, Ryan Davis, and James Matthew Jr. sharing the rock in terms of receptions. Bob Wood with just his 5th reception this season coming into that catch. So it's a good work from him to get that catch and spin out to get extra yards. Queen City needs big plays like this early on in a contest like this.
Making rookie cornerback Miranda Dumas look silly. The first round pick. Just a little out of sorts for the experienced Bob Wood in his 4th season with the league and with the Corsairs. Blitz coming as over the middle is Brown finding his intended target. It's Beasley for his 2nd catch of the game.
And we're seeing a lot of passes early on, and maybe they're looking at that 209 passing yards per game that Charleston allows heading into this game as an advantage potentially for Brown. And so far, it's been paying dividends. Already 3 of 3.
2nd and short. This is where the running game can come into effect. And this one, a bit better carry than the one a couple of plays ago. That one going for about 2.
Yeah, and I really want to focus on how they spread that ball in terms of the run game, because you've got Ketchup back there. You know that Charlie Baker is a capable running back as well. And then you've got Jalen Wells to kind of feed as well as in that power game.
That was Ketchum on the carry for 2 yards as they try and go up the middle again. And Ketchum carrying a defender with them for first down yardage.
Yeah, and a lot of this, you know, we talked about controversy in the streets. We're talking a few weeks back in terms of where Ace Ketchum was going to be in the Queen City depth chart, and we're starting to see early on that the Queen City faithful, so they still trust in it.
Rolling left as Brown having to get rid of it quickly. Bobble and caught! And back the other way comes the defender all the way to the 20-yard line. Just in the nick of time, they take the ball away. It's Sam Blotner.
That's big Sam Blotner on the free safety side. We usually see him far back on the defense, but he almost played almost like a nickel or dime back position trying to defend that play, and did really well just to stay around Ryan Davis. Davis is a guy that can be very dangerous on any given notice, and being, you know, just in the vicinity of the football is danger when you're in Sam Blotner's way.
Blotner's second pick of the season, his 20th of his career, as back to pass goes Iman Kopech. Pass middle, caught on the run to about the 37-yard line. Good pitch and catch from Kopech to Doug Britton.
Yeah, and what we've been starting to see as of recently, at least the last couple of games from Charleston, is the pass-happy nature of Iman Kopech. Last game against Mexico City, 22 of 43 for 279. It does bring some errors in the form of 3 interceptions, so as long as he stays clean, Charleston can be dominant.
High formation here on the second play of the drive. Handoff middle, going for about maybe 4 yards, and will meet the entirety of that Predator offense. Ian Francis, who just got that last carry, tags team with Nick Hoagland at halfback. Brad Tyler Wright is the fullback. Doug Spelling, Nick Twice, Michael Knight, and Doug Britton are the wideouts, with Leon Sandcastle and Xavier Solomon at tight end. And on the line, it's Perrin Ibarra, Benny Franklin, Leroy James, Finley James, and Alanier Cooper. Back to pass, Kopech hit, but he gets it off in time as they cross midfield for the first time. And again, it's Britton for another first down.
And Kopech got very lucky to get that ball off. It was a key block from the one tackle end, because Chad Stinson was about half a foot away from getting to Kopech before that ball was released, but a well-timed block to give Kopech that extra split second to toss it over to Britton.
2 decent passes from Kopech. That last one going for 11. His first one went for 17. Pitch play near side. Good blocking there on the outside, allowing the tailback to get forward for about 4 yards. That's the fullback, Brad Tyler Wright. Let's introduce you to the Corsairs defense while we have a moment. Harley Wilson, P. Fodor, Chad Stinson, and Robert Krohn are the defensive linemen. Luke Swift, Finn Steele, Morgan Brown are the linebackers, with Jasad Rackleflint at middle linebacker. Justin Raside, Elijah Quick, and Eric Belmont are the corners, with G.B. Wallace, Nate Hall, and Alex Marshall at safety. Kopech will roll here, throwing right side. Oh, what a snag! And it's fumbled, but picking it up. Oh, it's Queen City. A bang play, and we get a flag on top of it all. It's going to be pass interference on Queen City. It's all null and void.
Man, that's 4 different sequences at once. You're talking about interception, fumble, recovery, and then the penalty along with that. So forget about anything that we just saw. We're talking about 15 yards, back to Charleston ball. Kopech can forget about this play.
That had more excitement than all the last block combined, besides maybe the onside kick recovery from Los Angeles. 2nd and 4.
Man, and it was a little bit of a predictable block, I guess you could say, with Albuquerque being dominant against Bossier City, and then Baltimore handling business against LA. But that was a shocker that LA had. It was what, two scores in 2 minutes, and Charleston and Queen City, they don't want to have that happen to themselves.
High formation, running up the gut, gaining a couple yards, and no further. Good stop by Nate Hall. 3rd down.
And now we got to be talking about field goal territory, and this is definitely within the range of Cameron Duty. He's done along a 40 before, and this is pretty much within range, so they just need to keep things intact.
4-man rush, pass middle, Kopech. Oh, he was looking for Doug Spelling, but batting it aside over the middle. Falling incomplete. Great play by Queen City to force a field goal attempt.
And one person that we mentioned, before in a previous broadcast when we watched the Queen City game, Morgan Brown, has deceptive hands. Saw an interception in that come from behind victory to get Queen City going this season.
And the field goal attempt is up and good from Cameron Duty after an 8-play, 55-yard drive, and Queen City come away with the first points of the game on the road. A good start for the Predators. Again, they only just beat Queen City for the first time in franchise history a year ago on March 25th. All the way back then, that was their first time they won, and it's important to both these two teams, and especially for Queen City, some of the eagle-eyed members of you out there, especially those that are familiar with the Queen City Corsairs franchise, they are paying respect to General Manager Justin Raside's friend, who sadly passed away just last year, to Casey Mears, who would have celebrated her birthday yesterday, her 40th birthday. So there's a banner now hanging here in Compro Field in memory of Casey. 1st and 10 as the offense looks to do some damage and get on the board here in this first quarter. Michael Brown rolling, still rolling, now taking off. Oh, he has a little gap up the middle, and he slides down for 7 yards.
And I like that from Brown as well, because he didn't have any targets down the field. Charleston did really well to cover all the spaces deep, and that was where Brown was looking. He was looking for that deep pass. It didn't turn out, had open space ahead of him, got the 7 yards.
Split backs now, handoff middles, trying to find his way forward is Jalen Wells, but he's taken down by Brandon Ewing. That'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, and Queen City still wants to have that balance of run and pass. It's definitely a lot of teams, they strive to get that 50-50 split sometimes, and Queen City definitely one of them as well. And at least they got a couple yards on that run.
Let's go back, ace look, handoff left side, trying to push the pile, and gobbled up in the backfield is Charlie Baker. Jamal Ballard comes off the edge after the slow-moving play. It gets him maybe half a yard, but Queen City will punt.
And the key to any stretch run is that you need to stretch past your exterior lineman, your outside lineman, to get that extra space. And he just decided to push through instead of try to move around him.
That's a minimal return on that play from Doug Britton. And so the Predators will take over at their own 31-yard line after their first drive partner, which went for a field goal. Let's see how they can add on to that here.
And the big key is Kopech needs to stay composed, needs to stay clean in that pocket as well. No sacks. Got to get that O-line to stay protected of their quarterback.
Britton, the man in motion off to the right-hand side. Queen City stalwart in there, shifting at the moment. Pitch play toward that direction. It's Hoagland trying to find a way off to the edge, and he gains 4.
And again, you want those 4, 5, 6 yard plays to start off your set of downs so that it's a little bit easier in the playbook for 2nd and 3rd down. So I don't mind that toss play. The toss play, a very underrated play, it feels like, this season.
Ian Francis now dots the I. And rolling near side, looking middle. Kopech nearly had his man over the middle, looking for the tight end, Xavier Solomon. But Queen City, they're up to the task again.
And one developing instance that we're seeing this season is the progression in the targets that Xavier Solomon has been getting so far this season. Through the last couple games, I have to say he has over 20 targets alone.
Kopech starting to really rely on him, and might he be going to a tight end here on 3rd and 6? Nickel look shown here by Queen City. Corner blitz coming. Brown looking over the middle, tipped, incomplete. Alex Marshall on back-to-back plays with deflections, and oh no, Henley James is down. That's one of the tough offensive linemen, down and out for the count.
And yeah, and you want the offensive line to, stay stout. You don't want anything bad to happen to them, because then you kind of have to adjust and kind of change how you approach things, especially with the pass, because, you know, your next man up might not be the most secure guy, but sometimes they are. But you always got to be prepared for anything. But right now, Charleston's going to punt this football away, and that offense is going to rest a bit.
When he punts it, fair catch called for by Bob Wood at his own 29-yard line. So no harm, no foul. Now the Corsairs, they're keeping this game close here, partner, and that's something they've had varying degrees of success this season, especially against Charleston. They've had 2 games which ended in 1 score, but all the other 4, 15 or more points, something they're going to have to try and corral here tonight. And off left side, it's Ketchum, who breaks a couple tackles and gains 9 yards, just shy of the line to gain.
And this is what you need if you're going to try to balance your run and passes, especially early on, and try to keep that defense guessing. You want to have that run game be strong to start off, and getting 9 yards from Charlie Baker is definitely something that you can start off positively with.
Another thing to note, especially for margin of victory, the Corsairs, all their games have been won by 1 score. All their losses have been by 2 or more scores here this season. So as long as they can keep it close, they can find themselves well and truly in this game throughout the entirety. Blitz coming from Charleston, and there is a push that works better. A little rugby scrum that works out in the favor of Jalen Wells.
And going back to that history, Tyler, we have to go back to season 11, the last time that an away team won a game here. That was when Queen City played back then the Indy Red Devils to a 13-12 score.
The only time a team in this matchup history has won on the road, and that one is nearly picked. Both quarterbacks today here, Brett, not afraid to test the middle of the field, and it's worked to varying degrees. It's also hurt for a couple interceptions, one that got taken off the board.
Well, one, it's been kind of the formula of the Iman Kopech passing system so far this season. He's been a high-risk, high-reward quarterback. Michael Brown, a little bit more conservative, but it's good to see him be aggressive here in the first quarter.
Brown under pressure, looking across his body. Oh my goodness! Another highway robbery on the outside, still going up the field all the way to the 39-yard line goes Matt Ryan.
Man, and I have to ask first off, with that kind of catch, does he have any blood relation to Carolina safety Mike Ryan by any chance? Because that looked like a Mike Ryan interception that we saw last season. Just almost a carbon copy of almost a Willie Mays-esque basket catch, just with one hand instead of both. Fantastic work from Matt Ryan to turn that ball over and give momentum back to Charleston.
It's not too early to do this. That's our nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it. SFL 4K 23. Pass right side to a quick little stop route cut. Try to turn upfield and fight off defenders is Doug Spelling. And he can only get 6 yards.
And I mentioned some wide receivers that haven't had a lot of love so far this season. Another one that has kind of fallen behind in the ranks has been Doug Spelling. Usually that number 2 option usurped by Xavier Solomon, but has still done relatively decent through the first half of the season.
All right, formation handoff here. Hoagland trying to get off to the right-hand side just a little bit. The market just shy of the line to gain as we close in on the end of the quarter.
And maybe Hoagland need to, say his prayers and eat his vitamins so they can get that extra 6 inches just to get that first down marker. But it's not too late to get that done and, pump some iron if you need to.
And indeed, that will bring us to the end of the quarter. 3-0, Charleston out in front. This is the SFL on VFN. Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Dags Droneworks. Aerial photography and videography services, real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. Footage shot from one of the old U.S. battleships stationed here in Buffalo, New York, as we'll welcome you back here to Compro Field. Tyler Falk and Brett Solberg here on the call. Glad to have you with us, and a special thanks to Ron Haynes and Justin Reside in the stats truck this evening, keeping us up to date and you well informed. And off left side, Hoagland cuts it back inside. Good little move. Looked like he had space on the outside, but like the hole being created for him up the middle, and he picks up a first.
That's the classic Nick Hoagland. If you think I'm going to zig, I'm going to zag instead. As he got outside and then found his way in and then found his way out again. He was about 6 different directions in the span of 0.7 seconds.
Tight ends left here for Kopech as he'll hand it off up the middle. Good little run here for Ian Francis. That's 7 more on the tally.
And right now, this next man up for the offensive line for Charleston has performed really well. Look at the open space that that was just given to get that 7-yard run.
And off again, right side. It's Hoagland again, and another first down to near the 15-yard line. And it just seems like the smash mouth style of football in these short yardage situations is wearing down the defense at Queen City, Brett.
And I like this approach from Charleston as well, because you've got 2 different types of running backs that you go with. You go with the power of Hoagland, and then you go with the glory of Francis.
5-man rush looking right side, and it looked like it was a little bit of a rub route. Solomon trying to go for it. Another wide receiver in the area. They bump each other off, and the ball falls incomplete.
Yeah, and Kopech threw it in the right place, just about a yard or 2 away from that sideline. That's a textbook throw from him, but like you said, a little bit of a bump from the receivers may have just slowed things down a little bit, which made it uncatchable.
5-man rush. Kopech looking back in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Doug Britton! A pretty pass, a pretty catch. 2-score lead, Charleston.
Man, we have seen that a lot this season from probably one of the quarterbacks that we didn't expect to have 11 touchdowns now at this point of the season, and I'm in Kopech. That is a laser beam and a half. You want to talk about speed coming out of the hands of your quarterback? That's how you get it to your wide receivers with just the littlest of spaces. Great work from both men to throw and to catch.
There's good news there. Both Jameses are on the field, both Leroy and Finley. So the injury earlier in the quarter not proving too detrimental as Charleston take a double-digit lead over the Queen City Corsairs. It is 10-0.
And 4th touchdown of the season as well for Doug Britton, which is huge for him, because I don't believe he got to 4 touchdowns last season. So that's definitely, a monkey off his back.
It's on its way, and here comes the Corsairs on the return. Adrian Ellis Sr. trying to bully his way for up the middle for a couple extra yards, but nothing doing there at the moment. As we'll get a look at the stats here from this game here in just a moment. But right now, just Queen City just not being able to make do, and some untimely mistakes here, Brett, the story of the game so far.
Yeah, and right now, Queen City just needs to calm themselves down. We've seen a couple turnovers from Michael Brown. It might be better off for him to start off a little bit short, maybe start with a little dink and dunk action to just get his confidence up and get his composure, a little, calm down a little bit more.
Not too much to separate these two teams here, but like we've been talking about, the turnover bug. Right now, it's really in terms of Brown, and that one's caught. Says, what turnover bug? I'm going to keep forcing passes and have Adrian Ellis go out there and catch it.
Man, he's got that aggression up to not even 99, I would say 999. He's saying to himself, you know what? The best way to fix that turnover bug is just to do better. There ain't nothing about going short. We're just going to sling that baby long, flip the field in one play.
Bunch set right side from the Charleston 44-yard line. Handoff middle, catch him on the call. He gets maybe a yard before he is brought down by Khalil Thomas and company.
I think what I want to see from Queen City, we've seen this a lot already in this game, but runs up the gut. It's going to come eventually where Charleston's going to guess right, and they're just going to keep shutting him down like we see here. Let's see a stretch run. Let's see a toss play here. Change it up.
Pass middle, ooh, just in time. Was James Matthew Jr. coming across on the in route.
Yeah, and that's a rare route that you see from tight ends in the SFL. Normally, you see a post or you see a go from your tight ends. This time they go with an in route, just a short one to Matthew Jr., and it works out for them.
High formation behind Brown. He rolls, firing middle, and that's caught! James Matthew Jr. again. Didn't have to work that hard this time, but he puts him in the red zone.
This is a guy that's been kind of wanting to break out back to his normal numbers. He had a very slow start to the season. Didn't get too much involved. It was the Joe Beastly show, as people like to call it, within the first quarter of the season. But now Matthew Jr. starting to come alive to start off the second half of this season for Queen City.
First time Queen City's been in the red zone tonight. Brown with a 5-man rush, looking middle. It is incomplete. A trail of predators were circling that lone wide receiver.
Hey, that was pretty much in triple coverage. Again, talk about that riskiness, that aggressiveness coming from Michael Brown. Like, he's got that confidence. He just needs to make sure that it delivers results.
First incompletion on the drive for Brown. He's 3 of 4. Rolling right, Brown looking right, caught, trying to turn the corner, down to the 3-yard line. Goes Joe Beastly. Beastly couldn't be as beastly as he was those couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it just feels like a blink and a half ago that we saw him score his longest touchdown of the season at 79 yards, and it's been a far cry over the last couple of games.
Line defense on the field for Charleston. They'll try and go up the middle, through the middle, pushing the pile. Ace catch him! First and goal at the 1.
You can have one takeaway from that run. You pushed as hard as you could to get to the end zone. It doesn't work, but hold on a second.
Well, here we go. And we get a challenge from Queen City, so we will take a retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. Here we go with U11 under the hood.
And the main thing is where that football is going to be at the point of down contact, because Ketchum pushed as hard as he could to get to that spot. We didn't get a good angle on that one.
And it backfires right in the face of Queen City. The call on the field stands. Chad Stinson ain't happy about it. The fans certainly aren't either, but it's first and goal at the inch-yard line.
I love the idea, though, from Queen City to make that challenge, because Ketchum pushed and pushed and pushed, and it took 3 defenders to try to get to the end zone. And Chad Stinson, I commend you for that.
He's trying to reward his player for his hard work, and I agree 100% with you there, partner. First and goal, inside the 1-yard line. Brown gonna roll. He's gonna fire to a wide open receiver who dropped it. Ryan Davis had a surefire touchdown. He was open, not anyone in a country mile around him.
Tyler, that was a picture-perfect play, and it was the most ideal scenario for Queen City, and it just bobbles at the last hurdle.
Second and goal now. For the Corsairs, they try and run through the middle, diving easy as you like. There's the touchdown. That took maybe one play more than what everybody else was thinking. Jalen Wells gets on the board, and the Corsairs cut into this lead.
And now Queen City can breathe. They've got themselves on the board. The run from against Charleston has stopped. It's just that 10-point run that Charleston has had. They're keeping things close. Like you stated earlier, Tyler, this is going to be big for the confidence of Queen City. Now all they need to do is make a stop, and they can get back into this and possibly take the lead.
Here comes Joe Garfield on to attempt the extra point. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is good. 10-7. Now as the Corsairs get a touchdown, a very nice drive for the Corsairs, which started on their own 29-yard line. And now it's time for their defense to get back to work and keep this a very close game. Here comes the return here from Britton. He tries to cut inside, then outside, then breaking tackles at the 35, and no further. So out comes Charleston, and I got a soft spot for Charleston now here, partner. I was actually just in Charleston this past week for a work little convention, and I gotta say, I was at Flaglio's down in downtown Charleston. Really good place to eat some Italian grub. You got to see a lot of my first time being in one of the original 13 colonies, and I gotta say, Charleston's not bad of a town. The traffic on Highway 526 is a nightmare, but Other than that, Charleston's got a good little spot, let me tell you.
Now translate that for a Canadian. What does that all mean?
Think humidity and good people and good food.
That works, yeah.
There we go. And up the middle, here's Hoagland busting through a couple of Corsair defenders, and he gets a 7-yard gain.
And going back to that trip to Charleston for you, Tyler, did you meet Jacob Clear over in Charleston, and did he tell you all about the wonders of Aussie rules football?
No, I was not able to meet our friend from down under, but maybe next time I'm in Charleston, might have to, as getting the carry going nowhere. That's a very interesting call. Leon Sandcastle, the tight end, getting the call for no gain.
And we're seeing teams to kind of utilize those players that don't get involved a lot in different positions. And Sandcastle could kind of be that makeshift fullback in certain situations.
Blitz coming past middle. Oh my goodness, there's Sandcastle with a great snag. What a pass from Ivan Kopech. This is pretty. Watch this.
And again, it's a laser pass that goes through. And you've got the outstretched hands of two capable defenders, Alex Marshall and Jasad Grackleflint, that want that football, capable of getting interceptions, and it only lands in the hands of Leon Sandcastle.
That was beautiful from Kopech. How does he back that up? 1st and 10 from the Corsair 43. Be a run right side. Hoagland gobbled up at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Elijah Quick on the stop.
I will give Charleston this. They are changing up how they're running the football. It's not always up the gut. You're seeing stretch runs. You've seen the toss play early in the first quarter as well. But Queen City has responded in kind by guessing right where they're going.
And Kopech tries to get away, and he can't. Taken down for a loss on the play. And what a great time to send the blitz. Luke Swift gets there.
Yeah, that's the league's MIP from last season. If you don't know what MIP is, that's most improved player, and he showed it in droves. He was the king of TFLs last season, and it's just another carryover from this season. Another sack on his number board for his career.
He's now into double digits now in sacks. Number 10 in his career. Pass left side. Oh, it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of one of the most sure-handed receivers in the league, Doug Britton, and Charleston will punt.
And you can have the most shirt hands in the league. If you've got a guy at around 200 pounds, 210, 220 pounds that absolutely spears you out of your cleats, you're going to drop that ball on the catch. So it was a good effort for Britton, but Charleston's punting this football away.
Cameron Duty doing both punting and kicking duties. Gets this one away. Here's a good little return from Wood up the sideline. Going some twinkle toes as he nimbly gets out of bounds to the 29-yard line.
There's not a lot of space on that side either, and he still managed to get a 10-yard return, or sorry, a 15-yard return out of it. And again, not a lot of space, and Charleston, that return team was trying to get to him as quickly as he could. But like you said, nimble feet, nimble, ballerina-esque body almost, and he gets, a decent return out of it.
Bunch set right-hand side here for the Corsairs offense as they get sent back to work. That handoff going for a minimal game as Matt Ryan with another tackle.
Yeah, and Charleston has wanted to pride themselves in being a decent run defense. It hasn't worked out too much to them right now, allowing 129 yards per game. And they're trying to, slow things down in the run game. It's worked all right so far, and it's forced Queen City to pass that rock.
Another run, and this one going nowhere as well. Ketchum. Maybe this time he gains 2. Ballard coming up with a stop, and it's 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and then the main core of that Charleston run game has been the linebackers really stepping up. And like you said, Jamal Ballard getting that tackle. We've seen quite a bit of him. We've seen a bit of Khalil Thomas. We've seen a little bit of Ben Bowman as well.
Coverage backs off to the line to gain, just protecting that part of the field. Around right side, he overthrew it, and it's going back the other way. Brandon Ewing, Johnny on the spot, comes up with the 3rd interception for Michael Brown tonight.
Yeah, and the term that we hear a lot in football is if you play with fire, sooner or later you're going to get burnt. And Michael Brown has been aggressive all game. And what has that resulted in? 3 interceptions now for him. For a guy that already has 12 this season, it's starting to become a pick-happy playground for Charleston in this first half.
Brandon Ewing's 48th pick of his career. He leads the Predators with 3 interceptions this season. And that pass was bobbled at the line of scrimmage, and it goes 10 yards, but to no one in particular.
And going back to that interception, when you cause 3 picks in that, or you allow 3 picks in that first half, the defense in kind is almost looking at you with a side eye, saying, but not saying it, but thinking in their heads like, I gotta go back out on the field and try to bail you out again. That's sometimes the consequence of being aggressive.
Formation here for Kopak. 5-step drop, quick hitter underneath, and that one going nowhere. Nearly caught, but streaking down the middle was the middle linebacker Gracklefit for the deflection, and it's 3rd and 10.
And that one, I gotta say, Doug Britton, you gotta have those hands secured. You shouldn't have to worry about that linebacker hitting you. And I think that's what happened. He's so focused on getting hit rather than making the catch.
Launch left. 4-man rush. Kopak rolling across his body. Late flag. That one's caught at the 21-yard line by Nick Twice, and Kopak is hurt.
I know what this
on
is.
The hit.
It's a roughing the passer, I bet.
So Kopak is down. That means Dave Ragone or Samuel McNair is going to have to come in, and we're going to get the call here from the head's linesman. It's going to be a face mask. And that's on Queen City.
And that was on the pursuant man. That was Elijah Quick on the blitz.
Just wonder if Kopak maybe got some whiplash. And so here comes Samuel McNair in to replace the injured Kopak. From the Corsair 16, McNair rolling, and he fumbled the football, picked up by a linesman of Charleston. They're going to lose 12 yards.
Man, that was just greatly timed from Queen City as well. Having McNair on his way for throwing the ball, and it still goes behind him on that throw. It's just lucky that a Charleston lineman was there in the vicinity to just pick up the ball, but now it's going to be second and a country mile. Jacob Clear is going to challenge this. It's going to be an interesting decision from upstairs here.
And they're going to see whether or not it was a forward pass from Samuel McNair, as sometimes the scorebook from 2K is out of focus, as McNair, we'll see again, another look under the hood presented by Retroid, and not really concrete there.
Like the pass goes behind him. Like, that should be a fumble.
It is going to be ruled incomplete, and so they will not lose 12 yards. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I'm not sure, Tyler, because even you saw it just as clear as day as I did. That ball went backwards as he was throwing that ball. And if you apply the rules of physics into this, by all means, that should be ruled a fumble. But Charleston, I'd say they got away with that one.
I just wonder if they're taking a microscope to some of these replays. And it's just a slightest fraction of movement forward, maybe. McNair pass middle, and you can see that he's just not connected as well as Kopak is with some of these receivers.
And Kopak is the guy that going into this week has led the league in passing, attempts, and completions because he's thrown that ball so much. And like you said, that chemistry between QB1 and QB2 is going to be vastly different because of real-time gameplay.
Trips right here for McNair. Play action. Looking downfield, looking middle. Incomplete flag in the end zone. Pass interference. 1st and goal from the 1.
Yeah, and that's probably the most clear-cut pass interference that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, Tyler. That is no way looking for the football at all. We're talking about just bringing your man down, basically giving him the most aggressive hug in the history of hugs. Yeah, and like you said, he's just running and just pushing him out. And that's an easy 1st and goal now for Charleston. Can they deliver? Can they cash in?
The undrafted rookie free agent Belmont gets tagged with the infraction as we hit the 2-minute warning. 10-3 Charleston on the doorstep. For more points, this is the SFL on VFN. Two minutes to play now here for this first half of action. 1st and goal, Charleston. They will try and pass, flip out left side. Sandcastle is going to be dragged down at the line of scrimmage.
I like
Justin Raside.
I like the misdirect idea. I just think they need to go Hoagland 2 more times. They just need to go Hoagland right up the gut here.
All 213 pounds of Justin Raside brought down the 262-pound tight end as McNair rolling it into the end zone. It's a rushing touchdown for the backup quarterback to extend their lead back out to 9.
Yeah, and that one is almost like a pour one out for Iman Kopech as he tucks it in himself. Good blocking on the right side as well to get that space and make sure that he has an open gate laneway, I should say, to the end zone. And now Charleston possibly getting back up to their 10-point lead. That is what is needed after your quarterback goes down.
Snap spot, and the extra point is up and good from Cameron Duty. It is now back out to a 10-point lead after a very eventful drive, which saw a key injury time at Kopech, lots of penalties, an overturned fumble, and then 7 points. 17-3, minute 34 left to go here in this first half. Corsairs still have plenty of football, plenty of time. And here comes Bob Wood on the return. He gets it all the way up to his own 32-yard line. And that's something that can be said here, Brett, for the Corsairs. They have had really good returns from Wood, from Adrian Ellis Sr. They've set themselves up in pretty good field position.
Yeah, and the only thing that's been nipping them in the back of the foot, been their Achilles heel, I guess you could say, has been the 3 turnovers, the 3 interceptions from Michael Brown. And again, we almost got to ask ourselves, does the aggression need to simmer a little bit from Michael Brown?
Launch that right, Brown gonna roll and fire. That one's caught. Beasley for 9 yards and a beautiful catch.
And by Michael Brown standards, that's a short pass. We're talking, we've seen, that 20 yards in the air passes from him already in the game, and it's resulted in those picks. As long as he can keep things short and sweet, Queen City might get some work done.
And off middle, that one's going to go for a first down. And we'll have another injury. Jalen Wells gets it, but Ballard, the linebacker for Charleston, slow to get up.
Man, and that was a big hit from Wells as well. You almost forget the size that Jalen Wells has. He used to be a running back in the Sioux Falls days, if you remember back in the day, and now he's coming in as this fullback option. 255 pounds. He's gained some weight, so that's some unsuspecting strength.
Punch that near side. Here for Brown, looking near side. It is incomplete, looking for Beasley.
Now that Charleston's knowing that the aggression might be turned down a bit, it's going to be more short passes coming their way. So they're starting to cover those short routes really, really well.
I'm right there with you, Jacob. The physio, the doctors out there, the training staff, they are working overtime tonight. Give them hazard pay at this point. Minute 2 to go here in the first half. Brown will roll near side, unloaded across his body as cannot find James Matthew Jr. The ball hits his fingertips.
That was a close one too, and you're going to a sure-fired tight end option and Matthew Jr. on the opposite side. I like the idea, it just didn't pan out.
3rd and 10 now here for Michael Brown. 5-man rush. Brown looking near side. That is caught. Could he turn upfield in time? No, which means it is a first down and a first timeout called by the Corsairs. That's their 2nd timeout charged here in this first half. Remember, they did lose a timeout on the overturned challenge.
Yeah, and the goal right now for Queen City, with as little time left on the clock, at least get to field goal range for Joe Garfield. I know that they're looking for 6, but get yourself to around the 35 or the 30-yard line, and then call that final timeout to get that kickoff.
Man rush pass right side, just a bit too high for Beasley.
Not a bad look. Again, going to your guys that you know are going to get those catches. We saw it from Matthew Jr. Just didn't pan out. Got hit as he was trying to catch it. This time it's Beasley, and it was just off his fingertips. Looking for the right options. Those wide receivers have to deliver.
Queen City really loving this bunch look here on this 2-minute drill drive. 5-man rush again. Brown looking underneath. It hits off the hands of his intended target, Ellis. And it's again 3rd down.
And now Brown's starting to run out of options on who to really rely on now that you're down the field, now that Matthew Jr., now that Beasley, and now Ellis has dropped the ball. How about looking at Joseph Bodette? We haven't seen him yet so far tonight.
Five-man rush. Brown rolling away from the pressure. Downfield. Caught. Beasley to the 21-yard line just with an actor ordered. Final timeout called.
Yeah, now we're into territory where Michael Brown's got to be careful. He can't be throwing too many more risky passes now that Charleston has a little bit less field to cover. You're still outside the 20, just barely out. So you got to be careful on what your pass is going to be next. I'd be looking to throw short.
5 catches on 8 targets. That leads the team tonight for Queen City. Pass middle, caught inside the 10. Ryan Davis to the 8. 30 seconds to go. They go back to the line.
Surprised how open that middle of the field was.
See what happens here, and they will spike it. Michael Brown is, like you said, passing over the middle has been rough tonight, but it's suddenly opened up like the Red Sea.
And I think it's because just from those last couple plays, Tyler, Brown threw to the sides. He didn't throw down the middle, and that's what left that open space to get the catch and the 1st and goal scenario. Now 2nd and goal.
Coverage shifting, leaving James Matthew Jr. nearly completely wide open for the first 10 yards of the right-hand side. Davis also going to usher that way.
That's Ewing. That's going to be on Matthew Jr., who got the interception earlier.
Brown right side caught, trying to make him miss. Does up the sideline. Touchdown! Queen City Corsairs! They go through the adversity and take their first lead of the game.
A well-designed catch-and-run play from Queen City, and that's what we haven't seen a lot of from this first half from Queen City, is just these short throws and catches, and that is what the doctor ordered. That's the momentum swinger that helps, ease things after a first half that hasn't really gone their way so far. They've gotten in the yards department, but the turnover bug has hit them hard. But this is the touchdown they needed to swing things back their way.
Hold your horses, Ty. Not their first lead yet. Still down by 3, but hey, that 2-minute drill drive, or a 1:34 drive, was a one to behold, Brett. They cut it back to 3 points, 17-14 Charleston. And kickoff is on its way. This one will be returnable. Trying to find a way to the right side. Still trying to weave through defenders is Doug Britton. They get all the way up to the 32-yard line. That last drive for Charleston, Brett, it went 40 yards, but only 1 yard of it was offensive. 39 yards on penalties to get him to the 1-yard line.
Okay, you had a face mask in there. You had a pass interference in there as well. Like, you got to stay clean, especially if you're on the defensive side. But I don't think you have to worry about it too much. 14 seconds left. I wouldn't be too surprised if Charleston just runs that ball out.
There is Hoagland in the backfield. We should see 1 carry from him. No, they will try and throw. Kopech looking near side, looking for Britton. It's in and out of his hands. Hall there in coverage. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and that one was McNair just underthrowing his man, because Britton had the right route ran. He just threw it literally off his shoulder, off the backside of his shoulder, I should say, and that's why it falls incomplete.
Tight end look here for the Predators. Still looking to be maybe a little bit aggressive here. They're back to throw, looking left-hand side, caught Gain of a couple, and that will be the final play of the half. Xavier Solomon with the catch, triple zeros on the board. We hit the end of the half. It's a 3-score lead here, partner. 17-3, Charleston out in front. And it's been a pretty good game, pretty close game. No team has had larger than a 10-score lead between the two of them.
Yeah, and right now, Queen City's got to be, thinking to themselves, if we didn't turn that ball over so much, we probably would have the lead, because a lot of those interceptions basically halted good drives as well. Queen City has done well in terms of the pass game. 164 passing yards from Michael Brown, 12 of 23. He's definitely done well to keep things composed, but aggression has killed them so far. The deep passes, the passes against double coverage, even triple coverage, have come to hurt them. Interceptions from Ewing, Ryan, and Blotner have turned things around, and the big thing, Charleston has taken advantage of it. 14 of the 17 points have come off those interceptions. So Charleston taking advantage, that's why they got the 3-point lead.
We'll take a quick break, presented by Brakes GPT. Don't go anywhere.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet, sent it to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site, BrakesGPT.com. As we're back underway for the second half, Tyler Falk and Brett Solberg here on the call, and it's unfortunately not good news for Charleston coming out of the tunnel. Iman Kopech out, Ballard out for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, and what they're saying for Iman Kopech is elbow tendonitis. And I've actually had that before in real life. And if you don't treat that well, your elbow is going to have a golf ball size goiter right on the spot. And it hurts so much to try to just move your arm in general. So you got to be careful with that. It's a smart idea from Charleston's team doctor to keep him out for the rest of the game.
Goiter, huh? Well, you have to explain that to a Minnesotan, Mr. Canadian. What's a goiter?
Well, a goiter is just like if you think like a golf ball size little like swelling, I guess you could say.
Oh, a big old knot.
Yeah, I'd call it a knot essentially. Yeah.
Okay. So we learned a little bit of Canadian trivia as a little swing pass goes 1 yard for Charleston on first down.
Yeah, and now Charleston has to adjust. McNair's going to be in this game for the rest of it. So you have to trust in that QB2 to get yourself some love. We saw it a little bit earlier. Larry Love got some love here earlier in the week.
Outside blitz, pass right side, caught. Sullivan tiptoes the tightrope on the sideline for a first down.
And then with Ballard on the defensive side, they said it was a hyperextended knee, and that one's pretty bad as well. And again, that's another injury I've had before, where if you don't treat that right, you can't walk for days on end. So another smart decision by the physio staff. And right now, Charleston's just going to focus on what's ahead now. They got the first down. That's big.
Both players will be treated with the SFL medical staff and their facilities, and both should be able to return for next game. That one bobbled and carried on the shoulder of Brown there as that falls incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and if for anyone that's wondering, the SFL way of healing injuries is just put some dirt on it.
Good old dirt. I need to, where's my SFL dirt supplier? I need some of that for my back. My back's been killing me lately. Maybe it can go away if I rub some dirt on it. Blitz coming, pass right side. Oh, a beautiful catch. How did he catch that and then stand back up? Solomon again, showing off here to begin the half.
Somebody was watching the Vancouver-Washington game last night and it emulated to a perfect tee. John Michael Sudduth had that exact same catch in the 4th quarter of that Washington game, and Solomon did it just right. Slide in, find his way up, gain an extra yard.
Brad Taylor right goes from tight end. Here's a QB sneak from McNair, and he slides down for a first down, catching Queen City and us off guard.
Yeah, and the one thing that Charleston needs to do offensively is catch everyone off guard. Now with Samuel McNair in the fold for the rest of the contest, you've got to throw in plays like this to get your first downs.
5-man rush, passing middle. Oh my gosh, that one could have been intercepted. Hall nearly takes it away as we go back to SFL headquarters and SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine for a game break.
Thank you, Tyler. Oklahoma City hosting Chicago tonight, and the winless Renegades have themselves their first points at home this season. That's a Frank Udon rushing touchdown. Chicago leads 13-7, a good ball game in OKC. Back to you.
That's a pretty looking stadium, ain't it, Parter? I got the privilege of seeing that preview early, and my goodness, oh my goodness, Jiminy Crickets. Kopech, how lucky are you going to get with some of these passes? Nearly picked up for the second time on the drive.
Yeah, the color scheme that OKC has kind of reminds me of the old school Houston Astros jerseys, if you remember those. But that pass, yeah, McNair, that's the stark difference between a guy like Kopech and a guy like McNair.
And play action. McNair, pass right side, triple coverage, incomplete, tried to force it, fourth down.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Almost took the Michael Brown book of aggressiveness with that throw. Just ill-advised, not a great idea, but I like the gumption coming out from him because he's looking at this game as an opportunity to possibly get some more reps in real game time further down the line.
That punt is away from Cameron Duty. And that one going nowhere. Good coverage by the special teams unit for Charleston as Queen City will start on their own 11-yard line. The SFL convention is set to kick off the league's 25th anniversary season here in Baltimore. It kicks off July 10th through the 14th at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's Inner Harbor. You can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. It's a run up the middle for a minimal gain. Charlie Baker taken down by Jackson.
Yeah, and Jackson might be the Ballard replacement coming in on that linebacker side. And I think that's what Queen City's trying to take advantage of, is just that different linebacker coming in with the run up the gut.
Rolling is Brown, looking deep down the field. Bobble picked again. Fourth interception of the game by Michael Brown. That is now 11 picks in 3 games.
And the issue, again, with that throwing it into coverage that it's well placed by the defender. Again, Ewing in the right place basically throws it right to him. That's the 3rd time he's thrown it straight to a Charleston defender, and it's not close to a Queen City receiver. That's got to be a moment where if you're Chad Stinson, you're yelling at Michael Brown to calm down.
Ewing picking up his 2nd interception of the game. That doubles his season total in just tonight. Hoagland gets a good block on the outside. Hoagland inside the 10. He ducks out of bounds at the 7.
Deceptive speed is what Nick Hoagland brings to that table. We mention all the time about the power that he brings to that Charleston run game, but we forget that he could be a shifty running back as well. As seen from that toss, he had a short lane to run to, and he got to it to get that 1st and goal.
The wideouts right here, 1st and goal from the 8. McNair standing in the pocket. That's caught. Couple yards shy of the end zone. Doug Britton.
And again, if you're Samuel McNair, you'd want to make those aggressive passes down the field, but you've overthrown your guys a couple times. So going short is the right idea. I think they should just continue doing that. And I think this should be a textbook Hoagie run.
It is a run, but it's not as textbook. Queen City was all over that one, knocking him back a few yards.
And what Queen City's done very well in this goal line scenario is have their linebackers break through the line pretty quickly, and we've seen that a couple times now from Luke Swift.
Second tackle, first TFL of the game from Swift. Play action, McNair with time, middle, bobbled, incomplete. Corsair defense holding strong, led by their stalwart safety, Alex Marshall.
And that was McNair just wanting to get that off because he started to see the pressure coming in from that Queen City defensive line. He probably could have waited another second and would have been totally fine, but he also throws it into double coverage, and now Duty has to kick a 23-yarder.
This one, nothing more than a chip shot for the rookie. Snap spot kick is up, and it sneaks through the right post. Just barely. 6-point lead in favor of Charleston. Brett, do you like what's going on here in today's game?
Well, of course I do. I love what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think everybody out there might be liking it too, because if you haven't already, smash that like button. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you've got notifications on so you won't miss a minute of SFL, SFLM, UFL, and other football action, and help the channel grow through your support.
I'm only seeing 17 likes. Smash it more.
Oh, here comes one who gets blown up. He was smashed at the 38.
And man, and Wood was starting to get a little shifty himself with that return. As you'll see on the replay, he had a decent lane. He spun through one man, and then boom, you see it clear as day. After the shiftiness, sometimes, oh boy, there you go. A hit can happen like that.
So out comes Michael Brown, and maybe these 4 interceptions have given him maybe a sixth sense now of what not to do as they start this drive. Nice little draw. That's a way to get a little bit of confidence back, get some positive yards from your tailback, Charlie Baker.
I will need an update. Mike Daggs in the chat said he just cracked his monitor. We know that he has 18 monitors in his basement, so we need to know which one specifically that he cracked.
Or was it the widescreen TV that he uses as a monitor?
Or is it the tablet that he has a picture of Cam of with?
Interesting. Wait a second. Is that in reference to a certain someone's photo of Andy Hamilton?
Maybe.
Interesting. 2nd and 4, second play of the drive. This one, catch him going nowhere. Wrapped up and thrown to the turf for a loss. John Stamango in on the stop.
Yeah, now Charleston's basically saying to Michael Brown, I dare you to throw it now. 3rd and 6. This is basically a typical throwing down at 3rd and 6, and it looks like it. Bunch on the left.
This formation worked awfully well for the Corsairs on a 2-minute drill drive just before the end of the half. He tucks it and runs through the middle, and he will not slide and fall forward to the 46-yard line. That's some tough running from a QB.
Man, it was good shifty work as well. Again, I feel like I'm using the word shifty a lot, but these players have, outdone themselves with the agility plays here tonight, and we see it again from the quarterback. We've seen it a couple times. Man, Michael Brown almost looking better than his running backs in this game, which is a little bit concerning if you're the Queen City run offense.
Their 5-man rush, handoff, Baker, or maybe a couple yards. This time as Matt Ryan comes up with the tackle.
And again, we're almost seeing a little bit of predictability when it comes to Queen City's running offense. This time it was a little bit more of a stretch, but they're really playing within the offensive line. Get some toss plays involved. Maybe you'll get some extra yardage. You've got some big backs that you can use.
6th tackle for Matt Ryan as Baker gets the call again, and it's Ryan again. These two meeting up early and often. They need to be in an octagon or something at this point.
And again, similar to what we've seen before, it's going to be a more likely a passing down, a throwing down for Michael Brown here on 3rd and 5. They move the bunch to the right side. They love that bunch formation, Tyler.
I don't know how many times they've called it, but they certainly have called it a bunch. And flag incoming, pass near side. James Matthew Jr. could not hold that one in. Maybe the flag will save him.
I think it's a clip.
It'd be a very interesting clipping call on Queen City, and that is where the drive stalls. Charleston declined, 4th and 5.
Interesting block from behind. You usually don't see that on a third down passing play. You usually see that in special teams. So a little bit of an odd way to end things, but Queen City is looking to pin them deep so Charleston doesn't have a chance.
Hunt is away from Trace Welsh, and this one going to bounce for a very reasonable bounce at the 10, down near the 5-yard line. A great punt from Welsh, the undrafted rookie free agent.
And almost forced Charleston into a running situation to start off their drive. So if you're Queen City, I'd be bunching up that box. I'd be getting that line, getting 6 to pressure out, because I don't think they're going to pass it here on first down.
From the 4-yard line, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers.
And Queen City's gone with a 3-4 here.
Britton all alone on the right-hand side of the formation. They're going to try and run with Hoagland, who cuts it back inside, lowers the shoulder, and picks up 7.
Now, I don't know what Queen City was thinking going with a 3-4 to start off the drive. You want to bunch that line, especially if they're inside their own 5-yard line. You want to push them back, and now you've given them that separation that they can open up that playbook here for second down.
2 tight ends right. They'll try and run that way again. First down yardage and a few extra. There for Charleston, that's Ian Francis.
Man, and you can just tell the difference between the rushing games of these two. Queen City has almost struggled to get to 60 yards, where it feels like Charleston has been cruising their way to 68, and they have attempted just a little bit less than Queen City has.
Pass into double coverage, nearly picked off. A spinning linebacker nearly had a spectacular.
Man, and Morgan Brown has been close a couple times now, Tyler. He's just waiting to get that interception. He couldn't grab it into his hands. Now Charleston can kind of breathe a sigh of relief here for 2nd and 10.
3 down linemen here. Charleston run. They've been able to really exploit this 3-4 look. Instead, they will throw. Blitz coming. Pass underneath. Wide open. Doug Britton with no one around him. Down the sideline. Across midfield. Down to the 46-yard line. The 3-4 look, which usually plays better in coverage, backfires on Queen City.
And that might just be a result of the safeties dropping too far back. And we'll see probably a little bit of a replay here. And you can see just alone in this box, where is the defenders? That is just Doug Britton by himself until Marshall gets to him and pushes him out of bounds. That's definitely the safeties going way too far back on a short pass play.
37 yards.
About 30 of them was after the catch.
1st and 10 across midfield into Queen City territory. 4-man rush. Pass from McNair, caught inside the 35-yard line as Charleston continue to move down the field.
A smart passing play from Jacob Clear to, keep things, in that short to medium area. And again, talking about those crossing patterns that we've seen before, this time it's working out for Charleston. They're not getting in their own way, now getting the targets from around 10, 11, 12 yards. That's that sweet spot that McNair needs to, kind of pass to.
That's McKnight's first reception for 14 yards. Inside of 2 minutes now here in the 3rd quarter. Tight end now on either side of Samuel McNair as he's back to pass. Looking underneath, caught. Solomon got some good blocking downfield, and he gets another Charleston first down.
And Charleston just needs to continue going with those short passes, get that confidence up for McNair. I know that he wants to be aggressive and throw deep, but those open looks are coming from the short side. So he just needs to keep throwing that way, and it's paying in dividends. That's back-to-back first downs.
The 22, handoff Hoagland, and he'll have to be dragged down by 2 defenders. Among them, Jasad Grackleflint.
Yeah, and again, when you look at a guy like the immortal Hulk Hoagland, you want to stop him with not just one guy. You want to have like a whole battle royale of players to stop him.
McNair caught Solomon on a tight end seam to the 6.
And, the form is starting to crack a bit in that Queen City defense. We're starting to see open holes that McNair is starting to slice and dice into. This time, they just get Solomon on a go route that turns in a little bit of a post, and he just finds that open space. The term that I love to say, the levels between the linebackers and the safeties, those pockets, they're starting to form. They're starting to be open for McNair.
Line eye here, under a minute to go here in the quarter. Handoff, Hoagland through the middle, pushing the two defenders. They will give it to him. Touchdown, Predators. Largest lead of the game for Charleston.
Well, let me tell you something, Tyler. It was just a matter of time. It felt like Hoagland has been, gearing up. He's been hulking up, I guess you could say, to get to that end zone. He's beginning a lot of touches just in this third quarter alone, and it pays off. A very close call. It's a good call from Chad Stinson to challenge it.
And we'll take a look for the third time tonight under the hood with our headlinesman. We'll take a retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. I'm having to say that 3 times tonight. Maybe that's a sign. You should all go get your consoles. It's Hoagland from 6 yards out. Ooh, this is tough. Not the best angle.
Yeah, and saying it 3 times is not one of those Beetlejuice moments, unfortunately.
And this time, Stinson gets it right. Take the touchdown off the board. He'll be stopped just an inch shy of the end zone.
See the placement of the football. It's going to be pretty much chest hairs close. We're bringing it back. The SFL chest hair line.
Oh my goodness. Well, in the NFL, you have a note card line, so I guess we have to have our own version as well. Strong eye, 2nd and goal. Heavy versus heavy. Power v power. Handoff, Hoagland. Out of a tackle. There's a touchdown. There's no indiscriminate evidence this time. And now Charleston takes a 12-point lead.
I just took one more play and about 3 more seconds to get that score, but the same statement still stands. Let me tell you something, Tyler. It's one of those games for Nick Hoagland where he's going to say, well, I haven't had the biggest of runs in this game, but I've done enough to get this team to where it is now. With 33 seconds to go in the third, it's now going to be a 13-point lead with the extra point. Queen City is now desperate to respond.
Snap, spot kick is up and the extra point is good. 27-14, a 10-play, 98-yard drive, partner. Ooh. That's 9.8 yards per play on average. A stellar drive by Charleston.
And you can't ask for a more perfect drive than that.
Kick is on its way. This one returnable here by Bob Wood. Just inside the 10. Flag on the play. Mask. Nick twice going to be called potentially with a face mask. No, blocking the back.
Wow.
Just rub salt in the wound, why don't you, referee? They'll be back at their own 18-yard line.
I don't know. From our angle, it looked like a clear-cut face mask, but they're going to go the other way, and now Queen City's got to start from a little bit further back. And now you talk about that composure that Michael Brown needs. He needs it more than ever here.
The stat on the board that isn't shown, why it's maybe a bit more lopsided than usual. 4 interceptions to none. Michael Brown with 4 tonight, as that one for Baker. Running up the left-hand side for 2 yards. You're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. We've got more SFL action tomorrow night, followed by the UFL Tuesday and Wednesday. The SFL is back on Thursday, and the SFL Week 8 takes us through the rest of the weekend right here on an exciting week of VFN. Final play of the quarter, handoff, catch him going nowhere. Matt Ryan stops him after a gain of 2, and that will bring this third quarter to a close. As we hit the fourth quarter, Charleston 27, Queen City 14. Get your 4s up in chat. You're watching the SFL on VFN. Welcome back once again to Compro Field here in Buffalo, New York. I'm Tyler Falk, joined happily by my broadcast partner, Brett Solberg. Ron Haynes and Justin Rustide are back in the stats truck, and Cameron Irvine, the SFL commissioner, is producing. Brown will roll, still rolling, uncorks this one in a double coverage, and he's going to get away with a pass interference. Queen City get a free first down.
Boy, Tyler, this is something that they probably wanted for a little while here because the penalties have been very lopsided against them in this game. A lot of PIs, a lot of clipping against Queen City. Another stat that isn't displayed on that team stat sheet has been the discipline of Queen City. Too many penalties to count at this point. This time one goes their way.
I almost want to say this might be one of the most heavily penalized games that I have seen in quite some time. Very undisciplined play from both Queen City and Charleston tonight. As Brown looks to throw near side, nearly had Bob Wood. Good hit. Drawing the ball free by Leo Morris.
Yeah, and what we've seen throughout this game is Charleston, they've been giving the Queen City receivers a very tough time just trying to catch the ball. A lot of pass deflections, a lot of one-on-one coverage that has been to their favor in this game as well. Charleston secondary, it's been big kudos to them.
Brown up with a 5-man rush pass near side, caught. Davis for 7 yards.
Yeah, and right now, Queen City just needs to focus on if they're going to pass that ball more often, just because that run hasn't been up to snuff, especially in the second half. They may need to dink and dunk it so they can get some scores and then throw it deep afterwards. Change up here in the secondary for Charleston.
Check that was Ellis with the reception. 3rd and 3. They're going to try and run right side. Did he get it? No. So close, but yet so far for Jalen Wells. They'll mark him a football length shy of the line to gain.
And Wells was at that first down marker.
They're going to punt.
The football wasn't, and it's a little bit too early for them to go for it, despite them being in good field position. I don't mind the decision. They just got to.
Wells just going to fake. He's going to throw for it. He's going to unload it over the middle. It is almost caught. Oh, come on. Another wide open pass dropped by the Corsairs.
And Welsh put everything under it to get that ball 20 yards down. And that was probably the most perfect pass you could make as a punter. And it misses. It's just woe upon woe for Queen City. And now Charleston near midfield to start their drive.
Backup fullback Cecil Martin is going to be wishing he had that one back. Turnover on downs. Charleston from their own 45. 5-man rush past middle by McNair. Incomplete. Ivan Kopech out the rest of the game. Got injured in the first half, late on in the first half. And it's been Samuel McNair doing the yeoman's work of throwing here since then.
And let's give McNair credit. 11-21 for 119 yards unofficially. He's done his job as the QB2.
2 tight ends right. Here for McNair. Trying to run with Hoagland, cutting back up the middle, and he's blasted down on the logo.
And this is a big opportunity for Queen City to stop this drive immediately and get that football back, but they need to make a stop. I suspect it will be a pass here on 3rd down. They've got Ian Francis in the backfield.
3 wideouts. McNair looking for a flip out, trying to find it, and will. Good stiff arm down the sideline and out of bounds. Brilliant play from the fullback, Brad Taylor Wright.
Just 1 carry before this catch. He hasn't been involved too much. He's been more so the focus man on trying to keep McNair clean in this second half. Finally gets rewarded with a nice catch and run with an excellent stiff arm to push through to get the first down.
From the Corsair 38-yard line. After BTW nearly said so long, as Hoagland 12 yards and another first.
And again, that power coming from Nick Hoagland. This is a guy that's 230 pounds of lean, mean, powerful machine.
First and 10 from inside the 30-yard line. Another run, right side, Francis gaining 5, tackled by Hall.
And right now, Charleston is more than content with just letting this clock run and secure this victory, and they're moving down the field at a great pace.
The run up the middle for Hoagland, first down after a gain of about 6. As we get closer to 7 minutes.
Yeah, these is let me try that again. This is one of those drives where you can get that running back to have those gaudy stat numbers, and Hoagland's doing really well with it. 5, 6, 7-yard runs. We've seen 11 already from him. He's doing work.
Pass middle, caught, touchdown! Xavier Solomon gets rewarded for all his hard work, and the Predators blowing this one wide open.
Man, this has been a guy that, has had monster numbers over the last 2 weeks for the Charleston offense, and with Kopech down, those receptions have become lesser and less. But now I think that kind of calms him down a little bit. He's had some great catches from McNair, and it caps off a fantastic drive, getting Charleston to balloon that lead now to 20.
Weapon X gets touchdown number 5 on the season, leading the team 34-14. The Predators now lead by 20. Week 8 gets started on Friday with the Matt Wilson SFL kickoff show at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Mike and Gerald get you ready for another weekend slate of games. Friday features 3 games headlined by the Sin City Samurai facing the Los Angeles Lycans in a West Division tilt, plus Florida, Lexington, and Queen City, Nashville. It's all right here on the Virtual Football Network. So here comes the Queen City Corsairs offense, and well, they did come out strong here this season, partner. They won their first 2 home games in a nearly 10-game stretch, losing 7 games in a row at home prior to that, and unfortunately, they might be looking at another L here unless they can get their act together and make a 3-point swing.
And that kind of shows the example as to why things haven't worked out, at least offensively, for Queen City in the second half. The run game has just been completely shut down by the Charleston defense. It's only been 28 yards of rushing in the second half.
Brown gonna roll, and he's gonna fire right side, caught. Beasley, the 50-yard line. And what I will say here, partner, is those interceptions, most of them coming in the first half. Browns look a little bit more composed here late on in this football game.
And he has, and what he needs to do is just keep that composure, because even though it is a 3-score game at this point, he just needs to, keep calm in the pocket, find his targets, see if he can get those points in a quick fashion.
Corsairs going to try and bunch the wide receivers like they try and hoard their treasure. And they'll try and run with Baker. He goes nowhere. He's taken back the woodshed. He's going to go nowhere. He's going to be eliminated.
Again, Tyler, we're talking about if you want to have that stretch play, you've got to go outside that left tackle. And Baker just decides to trust in his tackle to push forward. It's not working. Stretch outside.
Under 5.5 to go here in regulation. Handoff middle. Ace catch him nowhere as well. Charleston reading the runs now like a book.
And that's what's kind of forced Queen City into this hand of throwing the football. And despite Brown kind of being calmed down here in this second half, he's still at 15 to 29, which is a decent click rate, but you don't want to overthrow on this third down.
Blitz coming. Brown looking middle wide open. Bob Wood. There we go. Inside the 35, down to the 31, and they're going to go back to the line. They have to go. Rolling is Brown, and firing is Brown. Inside the 10, nearly caught by James Matthew Jr. He's been unable to haul in that pass 3 straight times that play's been called.
Yeah, and it's the exact textbook James Matthew Jr. play to have that rollout, have the defender shift over, so you've got a one-on-one between most likely a corner and the stronger JMJ, but it just doesn't work out.
Bunch again. Brown with a four-man rush, dumps it off underneath. That's caught, trying to push those way forward. Maybe gaining 3 yards. This is Davis, 3rd and 7. Can't spike it now. Brown's got to go to the air again. Under 4.5 to go. Rolling again. Looking to the near side. It is in and out of the hands of Beasley. 4th and 7.
You have to imagine, Tyler, they're going to go for it. They're in a deep enough territory. They got 4 and a bit left to go. This is definitely go for it territory.
They try to fake punt last time. This time they're going to try and get it the old-fashioned way. Brown under center. From the Charleston 29, 5-man rush. Brown looking middle, wide open. Caught by Ellis, but he lost the football, but it's corralled by Davis. Davis saves the drive.
Man, you said it. That's to a T. Davis saves the drive, and he probably saves the game as well, because Ellis, had that ball jarred loose. I think that was Ryan again, on that fumbling of that football. And thankfully, Davis is in the vicinity to grab it.
Lonzo Jackson, again, in for the injured Jamal Ballard. Brown looking middle, caught. There's James Matthew Jr. trying to punch a hole through the middle. Gain 7. Back to the line. 4 minutes and ticking.
I would do the same thing.
Middle of the field's starting to open up a bit more. Brown underneath, tapped and incomplete, looking for Beasley. 3rd and 3.
I think that open pocket in the middle was open again, so they should have just did the same exact play, go with the in route for JMJ, and he probably would have gotten the touchdown. It's a little bit risky to go with the rollout and throw in the same area.
DBs line up at the goal line, knowing that's where they got to stop Queen City. Brown underneath, caught. Davis again catches it for a first down to the 2-yard line.
At least they got the fresh set of downs. They're going to stay in this formation.
Heavy blitz coming. Brown underneath. It is incomplete. Looking for Beasley. Hit his numbers on his back plate.
Yeah, and this has got to be a drive where if you're going to go pass, you got to go with the bigger bodies. You got to go with the guys with the sure hand catches. I'd almost be throwing these next 3 passes directly to James Matthew Jr.
He's lined up far on the right side. He leads the Arrowhead in that bunch set. Davis near side, 1-on-1. Brown rolling, blitz coming, pass underneath, almost caught by Beasley. He was blanketed all around him by Charleston Predator defenders.
I didn't mind that idea because Beasley got in front and he was just in the end zone. That's a pass you want to make if you're Michael Brown. So I don't mind that look. They just got to capitalize, and he's got to make sure to secure that catch. 3rd and goal coming up. It looks like JMJ's on an island on the right side.
And he is. Brown 5 of 5, or 5 of 10 in the last 10 passes. Stamango into the coverage, last play around. Heavy blitz coming. Brown looking right side, 1-on-1. Flag incoming! Pass interference again. New set of downs for the Corsairs. Another penalty in this game.
Man, and according to the stat sheet that we have, that's the 5th penalty of this game. I honestly think that's number 6 or number 7 in this game with how often that play's been called. But that's just, again, impeding the route again. So I don't mind that call from the referees. It's a fresh set of downs now for Queen City.
And we've had a couple of penalties on kick returns as well. And so it's 1st and goal with 3-3s on the game clock. Coverage spreading out, showing zone now. 4-3 look out of Charleston. Brown back to pass. Heavy blitz. Wide open. They can catch it again. Looking to pass or a free first down. Another wide open pass that Queen City can't haul in. You gotta be kidding me!
That might be the first time I've ever seen an all blitz and it led to an incompletion. But the silver lining for Queen City, they're back to first down again, half the distance to the goal.
You have nothing but black shirts in the end zone. 1st and goal from the half-yard line. I formation, Brown to throw. Gonna throw right side, back in the, oh, come on! I'm just feel
my.
so bad for Queen City. This is ridiculous.
It's so many drops in this game, Tyler. And Beasley, again, wide open. It's just unbelievable. They've got to catch a break.
I'm frustrated for the players. This is
absolutely.
insane. Brown gonna roll, fire underneath. Beasley hits his hands again. Incomplete, 3rd and goal.
If you're Chad Stinson, any hair that you have left on your head is gone, because you've had so many open pass opportunities, and we see the same play that we saw in the last, not the last first and goal, but the one prior to that, where Beasley gets in front of his defender and just can't get his hands on the ball. 3rd and goal.
19th play of the drive. Will we see a catch? Someone roll a dice, because right now Queen City's rolling nat ones. Heavy blitz coming. Brown underneath, missed again. 4th and goal. Come on!
Oh my goodness, yeah. Tyler's saying what I am, internalizing right now, and it's been rough luck, especially just in this drive alone. Do you think it's the weather here in Buffalo that's affecting these hands? Because I think right now we're looking at probably sub-20 temperatures in Buffalo.
Right now, I think it's so cold, the water is frozen. He can't even say who poisoned the water hole or something, because something has infected the hands of Queen City tonight. Blitz coming. Brown rolls. He's going to fire underneath. Cut! Finally! Davis, touchdown!
Hey, and that might be the sigh of relief. That might be that little shift of momentum that they need to get that touchdown. Now you just got to get, I would say, 2 more, and they consumed a lot of clock to get to that. That was about talk about 20 plays in this drive, and they shed a lot of clock. I wouldn't be too shocked if we see the onside kick happening as well.
Someone please tell me that's the longest drive in SFL history. 20 plays. 3 minutes, 33 seconds taken off the clock. It's going to say 18 because of all the penalties. Come on, Queen City. Get this onside kick. Come on.
Remember, Tyler, we have to be unbiased.
I'm trying to. This one's hauled in. Oh, what a stiff arm. Ball is loose. Ball is loose. Queen City don't recover, though, and Charleston take over.
Man, and how close was that Queen City player on that fumble too? And he tried to dive for it, but right man, right place, right time. Charleston has the football with 3:13 left.
Oh my goodness. 1st and 10 for the Predators, about 10 yards away from field goal range. They've got some of the best backs to try and salt this one away. Hoagland and Francis. This one to Hoagland through the middle, untouched for the first 8 yards, rolling forward, 1st down. Easy as you like. That's why Charleston's going to win this football game, because their rushing game has been so good all game long.
And it's been mostly from that second half as well, because you look at how, Charleston utilized that run. It wasn't as prevalent. They still tried to use that Iman Kopech style, and then when he went down, they tried to use McNair a little bit more, and then the second half they adjusted so that the run game could be a little bit more prevalent. 74 second half yards, that's what you need from your run game.
And again, completely unbiased, but you got to feel for, as a neutral, for Queen City and their struggles tonight.
Yes, 100%.
This is something out of a torture book, if I'm being honest with you. Handoff middle. Ian Francis goes 2 yards, and it goes back to the old SFL documentary quote from Cam and Irvine. We want it to hurt. I don't know what you call this, Cam, because this isn't hurt. This isn't pain. This is suffering now for Queen City.
1,000%, and just all the drops, all
Pure
of
anguish.
the close calls. It's absolute pain, suffering. You know that tweet that you see around with the head of Justin Herbert with the tweet that says pain? That's
All the
exactly
time.
what Queen City is feeling.
It's that amplified by 10 tonight. 2-minute warning. Charleston going to try and put this one away. Offset eye behind Samuel McNair. A First down would seal it away as Hoagland gets the call. He can go nowhere. Alex Marshall cleans him up. And it'll be third down, and there's the first timeout called by Queen City. So, in all reality, Queen City could get some points or stop the bleeding a little bit and maybe have a shot at coming back in this one. They need to stop Charleston here, though.
If they can stop this third down, it would force a 46-yarder from Cameron Duty, which he hasn't gone through yet.
Hoagland with some good blocking.
Ooh.
Wow, and Hoagland the extra effort. Gains the first down, and that should be all she wrote. Charleston gonna walk out of here with their second win on the season.
And again, it's I shouldn't say unsuspecting strength, because Nick Hoagland is known for his strength, and there you see the dividends nearly at the century mark, and that is something that Jacob Clare has wanted to see from Nick Hoagland all season.
Hoagland gonna run again through the middle, gets a block, taken down. There's the final timeout called by Queen City tonight. As we'll start breaking down everything again here, partner. Again, Hoagland now over 100 rushing yards, unsuspecting, but he just duels the lion's share of the workload, and he does it without any fuss, any drama. He grabs his lunch pail and gets the job done. And there's your first down to seal the game.
Pretty much the standard Charleston player that Jacob Clare wants to have on his team. The guy that is, well respected, and they look at him and say, that is a guy that I want on the team. And gets the first down, gets a little bit of extra money now on the side. Cha-ching with the 100-yard performance. And man, now with the victory formation, this is... it didn't feel comfortable for a good stretch of time here, Tyler, but Charleston definitely gets a win on the road. This might be the turnaround that they need to wake up from the nightmare of their 1-5 start.
They'll get their first road win on the season. They will go back home to South Carolina next week to face the Washington Trident, a red-hot Washington Trident club, on February 23rd. Meanwhile, the Corsairs, it is now 3 straight losses. They will go on the road to face Nashville. In Nashville, a team who's right now struggling as well, but maybe tonight was a trap game for Queen City, because nothing seemed to be going right for the Corsairs tonight.
It's just one of those games where you just have to forget it. Like all the bad things that happened, all the penalties, all those dropped balls, all the instances where it felt like, the world and maybe even, the elements from above were against you. You just need to forget about it, move on to the next game, and just focus on getting that next up.
Block about to hit triple zeros, and this will be your final score. Charleston 34, Queen City 21 here at Compro Field. And that's how week 7, the regular slate, comes to a close. Tomorrow we got the Monday Night Spectacular, Fort Worth and DC, with Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty and the whole Monday Night Spectacular crew. But one final time here, Brett, what are some things that stand out to you from the stats, from the numbers, and what else can we glean from tonight's game?
An interesting thing, 0 passing yards in the third quarter, absolutely shut down from Queen City, and Charleston basically dominated the field of play as well, made sure that, Queen City, the chances that they had were few and far in between. And Queen City, they fought their hardest, but it just felt like they just hit some bad juju on the way to the second half. And like I said, they just got to forget about things. They got to forget about Michael Brown's 4 interceptions. They have to move on to next week, because next week is a new week, and they can cook up something different in the following game.
That'll do it for us tonight. For our statisticians, Ron Haynes and Justin Reside, and for Cameron Irvine, the SFL commissioner, and for my partner, Brett Solberg, I'm Tyler Falk. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more SFL action for the Monday Night Spectacular and the SFL this week. Until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.